So let's cover triangle patterns now. Okay, and we have three different types of triangles. Okay, one is called the symmetrical triangle. Second one is called the ascending triangle. And third one is the descending triangle. In a symmetrical triangle, price moves in a symmetrical manner. Meaning, what it's essentially doing is it is making lower highs and higher lows. Okay, so in a symmetrical triangle, price starts to make lower highs and higher lows in a very uniform manner. Okay, so that is known as a symmetrical triangle. Basically, what is happening here is there's a fight going on between the bulls and the bears, right? And one of them is trying to take over the trend. But eventually what tends to happen is neither of them are able to take control. Hence, price starts to trade in this narrow range. And eventually what happens, as soon as it gets to the end where the range is very narrow, right, price tends to break out. Now either it will break out towards the upside or it will break towards the downside. Okay, and whichever side is breaking out on, that is the side we want to take an entry. So let's say price breaks out towards the upside, right? So we will take entry right on the breakout. Okay, now my stop loss is the opposite end, or you can say the most recent higher low, right? Or you can even call this a swing low. So that is my stop loss. Now my targets are the next lower highs, or you can call these the next swing highs, right? And I'll keep two targets, 1 and 2. So that's how you can place your targets. Okay, now vice versa, if we're taking a sell entry, let's say price breaks out towards the bottom, so we will go short or enter a sell trade on the breakdown. Okay, and my targets will be very similar, which will be the next swing lows or the next higher lows. Okay, and stop loss will be the opposite end. Right, so that is the symmetrical triangle. It's probably one of the most frequently occurring patterns, and especially one of the most frequently occurring triangle patterns. Now let's come to the ascending triangle. So an ascending triangle will look like this, where we have higher lows, and similar highs, right? Similar highs, where the highs are almost the same or near and about the same. Okay, we mainly want to see higher lows happening. So this is called my ascending triangle pattern. Okay, ascending triangle pattern. Now, just like our symmetrical triangle, the breakout in this can happen in either direction. Okay, if the breakout happens towards the upside, I will take a buy entry right on the breakout. Okay. Now the way we calculate the target in this is you either take the parallel line to this line, right? So you can see that they're parallel, or you simply calculate the distance from that high to where the triangle starts forming, right? The mouth, which will essentially be exactly the same as per this parallel line. Okay, so you either take the distance from the high to where the triangle starts forming. Basically, we can call this the mouth, or you simply draw a parallel line to this bottom trend line, and that will be your final target. Okay, and your stop loss is simply on the opposite end. Now, if we take a sell trade, means price is breaking towards the downside. So we will take a sell trade on the breakdown. Okay. Stop loss will be on the opposite end, and targets will be the swing lows. Right? First swing low, second swing low. Okay, and we'll look at some examples. So this is called an ascending triangle. Now let's come to the third one, which is called the descending triangle. Okay, in a descending triangle, we have lower highs, and similar lows, right? Almost identical lows. So now, if this breaks towards the downside, right, I will take a short entry on the breakout, stop loss on the opposite end, and my target will be the parallel line to this upper trend line, right? Or you can simply calculate the distance from where the triangle starts forming to the low of the triangle, and that will pretty much equate to where the parallel line falls. Okay, now suppose it breaks towards the upside, so I will enter on the breakout towards the upside, and my targets will be the first swing high and the second swing high. Okay, and stop loss will be on the opposite end here. So this is called my descending triangle, right? So we have the symmetrical triangle, the ascending triangle, and the descending triangle. So now let's look at some examples. Okay, this is a stock called Walk Pharma, and we can very clearly see here that we have a descending triangle. Why is it descending? Lower highs and similar lows. So I enter on the breakout. Stop loss can go, we can keep it here, midway, right? If you don't want to risk too much. And my targets can be the swing highs, or simply keep it right here, right where the triangle starts forming. That will be my final target. Okay, if I look at one more example in this same chart, I can see a nice symmetrical triangle, right? And now it's breaking out towards the lower side, so I will enter short on the breakdown. Stop loss will be the opposite end, and target will be the parallel line, right? So essentially we can keep the target somewhere here, or you simply calculate the distance from this high to this low, and you will probably end up booking profits somewhere here. Let's look at Nifty. So I can see one decent symmetrical triangle here. Right, you can see the uniformity, and this one breaks out towards the upside. So I will enter on the breakout towards the upside. Stop loss on the opposite end of the triangle. And my target will be this distance, and we can end up booking profits somewhere up here. Right, this played out really well. Let's see another major triangle. Okay, so we can also call this another symmetrical triangle, right? And you can clearly see that the target was easily achieved. If you just calculate the distance or draw a parallel line, the targets were easily achieved. Let's look at Reliance. Okay, I'm looking at the daily time frame of these stocks. So again, in Reliance, we have this nice symmetrical triangle. Okay, my entry is on the breakout. Stop loss is towards the opposite end. And my final target I can keep as the high of this triangle here. Right? Or if you want to play the swing highs, so this will be my first target, and this can be my second target here. Okay, so as per your risk appetite, you can play these patterns. Now this is Tata Steel. If we look at it on the monthly time frame, right? So we have a descending triangle pattern. Okay, similar lows and lower highs. So if this is my breakout, I will enter here. Okay. First target will be the first swing high, which is right here. And final target will be the next second swing high, which is right here. Right? So both targets are achieved in this case. Now you guys, you might be asking that, how am I taking these entries? Right? I'm just saying that there's an entry here, enter on the breakout. Right? Now there are precise ways, where we can take entries. Right? Where we get precise levels that I will enter only above or below this particular level. Okay, because many times what happens is we tend to get some breakouts and those breakouts fail. Okay, that is because we are randomly entering on the break of the trend line. Okay, so as per technicals, there are precise ways to take entries where we get precise levels that I will buy only above, let's say 450 in this case. Right? Now, how do I derive those levels? Okay, that I teach in the advanced course. Okay, that is taking things a bit to the next level where we get exactly those precise levels where we know that is a good entry, right? Instead of just entering randomly just because it's breaking out, right? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so we need to be careful as we enter these breakouts, because many times what happens is because we're entering at the wrong levels, we tend to get false breakouts. Okay, so this was the descending triangle. So we've covered all three triangles, right? Symmetrical, ascending, and descending. And we also saw how we can trade these. So that's it for triangles, guys. Let's move on to the next pattern.